Good evening and welcome to the meeting of the Dobbs Ferry Planning Board and the, of course, the AHRB. Before we go into the formal meeting, council would like to make a couple of comments about one of the applications.
Yeah, just, we're sort of expecting more people here, but if anybody's here for the Knoll, it's not on the agenda tonight. We thought so. The applicant requested to be off the agenda while they prepare some additional information to submit. Once that's reviewed, and if the application is deemed complete, it'll be on a future agenda, but they're providing more information. Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The first item on our agenda, 107 Palisade Street, is a continuation of public hearing for proposed subdivision of existing lot for construction of a new residence. Good evening.
I'm Karen Chubak with CGA Studio to present this project to you, and I'll focus on the changes, clients here as well, and Christina's on Zoom. I will focus on the changes that we made to the drawings, and if there are any questions, I'll go back to anything else. We are here, we have added the percent of permeability to the pavers. The pavers are labeled as 45% permeable, and without deducting for the 45% permeability of the pavers on lot B on the north. Without deducting for that, we're at 59% coverage, which is under the 60% maximum, but when we deduct for that, we're at 50% coverage. And once again, the permeable pavers had been introduced when we asked for the zoning variance for Lot A, so we don't need the pavers to be under the coverage limit, but we are indicating the permeability of the pavers. And then other changes we've made is this will be clear in plan and on the elevations as well, but you could see that the base of the building was previously, let's see my mouse here, was jogged before, and we've made the base of the building be in the same plane, in a continuous plane, and that you see on the garage plan here, and I will show you an elevation that as had been pointed out at the last meeting, since the openings in the base of the building are located as required for vehicular traffic, they're not precisely aligned with the bays above them, and so it makes sense for the base to be in one continuous plane, and the building is then recessed above in the center between the two bays. And really our goal here is to articulate the building as much as possible at the level at which you will perceive it, above the neighbor's fence, really from the second floor up, and at the base, to keep the base quiet and allow it to do what we needed to do, which is to allow us to conceal the vehicles as much as possible inside the building and behind the building. And that has been studied as was requested I guess I will say that this civil site plan has been changed to be fully coordinated with our site plan, and the coverage charts match entirely, and the site plan matches fully. And the civil engineers also provided these turning diagrams showing all 4 cars. We had showed this to you last time, but we hadn't formally submitted it, so we formally submitted it this time. And then the other change we've made to the drawing is the plat plan has been revised to also indicate the percent of permeability of the pavers and coverage when that is taken into account. And those are the extent of the changes.
I might ask the attorney, this has been referred to the Board of Trustees. No, that's the next one.
Can I just have one? I think this is great.
Sure.
I think we're done. I only have one comment, which is, could you submit a wall section that shows the recessing of how far the windows are recessed? It's become my bugaboo now. As I drive around, I see these facades that look like they're supposed to have punch windows in them, but they're basically flush, because whatever window system they're using. And one of the things that we talked about in the design guidelines here was the sort of punched window look of the buildings here. And for that to happen, there has to be at least some shadow line. The window has to be set back, some distance, doesn't have to be a crazy number, but that's the only thing. Otherwise, it's all good.
Yeah.
Should we reopen the public hearing?
Yeah, I move that we open the public hearing. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No, I'm all about it. Sorry.
Any comments?
Online? Wow,
Well,
run for it.
this is Bel Air, right?
No, this is,
This is
We're gonna
Palisades.
see
Palisades.
I'll say it.
We can close, I guess, the hearing.
This is Palisades.
Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Anybody else wish to speak to this? Well, I think we might consider closing the public hearing.
Yes.
Second? Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Do we have a resolution for this?
Yes. There is.
Are we prepared to vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're on
Board
mute.
members?
You
Yes.
have to talk, you have to put this wand down.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Peter Wintner is on Zoom, so he's one of the trustees, the alternate planning board member, I'm sorry. And he's sitting now for member Brosnahan, who's not here. Just so everyone's.
Great.
So Peter, if you have any comments, just pipe up.
I can also give a quick summary for the board of the resolution.
That'd be good.
So it's whereas Maria Teresa Lorenz, applicant and owner, is seeking site plan and preliminary plat subdivision approvals to subdivide an existing lot and construct a new two-family resident on the vacant lot. The property is located at 107 Palisade Street and is located in the MDR2 Mixed Density Residential 2 zoning district. Whereas the project is classified under seeker implementing regulations as an unlisted action, whereas the application received 2 area variances from the requirements in the zoning chapter from the Board of Appeals from the Zoning Board of Appeals at its September 13th, 2023 meeting. Whereas the Planning Board conducted a duly noticed public hearing on March 7th, which was concluded on April 4th, during which all of those wishing to be heard were given the opportunity to be heard and provide written comments. Whereas the planning board also reviewed and examined letters, reports, and memorandums from the board's consultants, as well as materials submitted from the applicant, including their approval application, their LWRP application, their seeker form, their subdivision map, architectural plans set by Christina Griffin, last revised March 20th, and civil engineering plans by Hudson Engineering, last revised March 7th, 2024. Whereas the planning board is familiar with the project site and considered, among other things, traffic, walkways, etc. Whereas the planning board has now concluded its review and finds that the applicant has satisfactorily addressed the criteria for granting approval in consistency with the village's local waterfront revitalization plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the planning board of the village of Dobbs Ferry finds the project is an unlisted action under seeker, and based upon review of the EAFs and all application materials and consultant reports, the planning board adopts a negative declaration in connection with the project. Be it therefore further resolved that the planning board hereby finds that a proper case exists for requiring that a park be suitably located for playground or other recreational purposes within the village, and the planning board finds that in accordance with the reservation of Parkland Park, that a park cannot be suitably located on the property, requiring payment of a fee in accordance with the master fee schedule for the 2 additional residential units. The approved plans are the aforementioned of the subdivision plans by Summit Land Surveying dated February 22nd, 2024. The architectural plan set by Christina Griffin, last revised March 20th, 2024. And the civil engineering plans by Hudson Engineering, last revised March 7th, 2024. The following conditions must be met before the planning board chair may sign the approved site plan. It's going to be that the following language has to be added to the plan, approved, subject to the requirements and conditions of April 4th, 2024 resolution. The applicant must address any outstanding comments for stormwater or any engineering issues. The village engineer must sign off on the final application plans. All legal fees must be paid. The applicant must also demonstrate that the proposed planting plan meets the replacement of 50% of the total aggregate diameter of trees proposed for removal. Landscaping must be in accordance with section 300-44 of the village code. Expiration of the preliminary plat approval will occur within a period of 90 days from the date of the resolution unless you're granted an extension.
The only thing I would like to add is this one condition of the submission of the wall section and the window, typical wall section and window detail.
Are there any other conditions that the board would like to include?
That I'm aware of. Good. I move that we approve the application.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank
All
you.
Peter?
Peter?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Peter?
no. Thank you.
And then we just gotta do the AHRB portion of it also.
Oh, we got an AHRB resolution as well. Oh, hold on one second, though. Peter, we can't hear you. There we go.
I am,
Are you for or against?
I am for.
All right, that's a vote.
And then for AHRB approval, it's essentially the same, just noting that the approved plans are the architectural plans by Christina Griffin, same as the aforementioned, the March 20th, 2024.
Yeah, my comment, I realize, my comment
And I can
makes more
incorporate-
sense here.
Yeah.
For the AHRB, yeah.
Yep, so
I'm
I
sorry,
will
I didn't,
also
I
add those.
forgot that we had another resolution.
Yep,
Which
so
you
the windows sections.
Right.
Yep, the typical wall section and window will be incorporated onto this resolution as well.
It doesn't even, I don't know if it even needs to be on the other one, but that's great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Okay. Good. Number 2 on our agenda, 11 Lyman.
Vote on that.
We have to vote on it.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll
Aye.
second it.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought we were well, okay.
Because we have we have to do a separate approval for the AHRB.
Okay.
Peter, aye?
Peter?
Yes, aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Next item on our agenda, 11 Lyman Place, continuation of public hearing for proposed subdivision of 2 new single-family houses. This application is adjourned until the May 2, 24 Planning Board AHRB meeting. Do we have to,
No.
Nothing
no.
to
Oh,
do.
Do they have to vote
I'm
on
sorry, yeah, this is a public hearing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we should vote to
Continued?
Continue.
adjourn it to May 2,
Okay. All right, good for us.
Okay, I'll second that.
okay?
All in
On-
favor?
Aye.
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 Great.
What's that?
All right, Peter.
Thanks.
Item number 3 on our agenda, 125 Bel Air Drive. Public hearing for proposed exterior alterations, including a deck, stone retaining walls, stone terrace, expanded driveway, and planning. This application has been referred to the Board of Trustees, and they authorized the village attorney to work up a license agreement. I guess it's up to the village attorney.
For the wall on the village right away.
Yep. That would be the other village attorney. Yeah, okay. And not me.
Not you.
I don't know.
There's actually a resolution to the trustees.
Okay.
Are you here for 125 Bel Air?
Oh, I am, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm Justin Golub, I'm the homeowner. I'm here in lieu of my architect, who happens to be out of town. So should I just present the slideshow and then we'll take public comments after that?
I think we're pretty familiar with, I think the only thing that was really that we couldn't weigh in on was the agreement, whatever agreement you were going to make with the village about the wall and their easement. And I assume that's taken care of?
I believe so. There's,
Because we didn't have other,
yeah, there were no real concerns of the board. There were a couple comments that are fully addressed, and that was sent to you all. I have a copy of it here. I don't have to go through the
well, I
presentation.
don't want to speak for the whole board. I don't know.
Right, I mean,
There
whatever
were
you
a
want. I have
number
a little
of,
slide deck. I can go through the project quickly if you want and show the modifications.
There were a number of
guess.
engineering comments last time, which
Have
got
been
addressed
addressed?
for the most part. We do have some questions still on stormwater and with the walls, we will need to see fully engineered calculations, but I believe those things could be left for building permit. We'll do a final review at that point.
Okay.
So they're not substantial?
No, I don't think it'll substantially change things. no.
We'll have Anthony review that again
Right.
before we issue the building permit.
Okay.
I guess you should go through it quickly because what, we're going to open up a public hearing?
Yeah.
Sure.
We need, all right, I'll open the public hearing. Is there a second?
He's going to do a very quick presentation
Sure.
first.
Okay.
Can I switch to have my screen on the Zoom? I'm gonna do full screen. You know, do full screen on that. Oh, perfect, okay. I'll try to go through this in like 2 minutes, because this has been, I'll try to go through this in just a minute or two, because this has been presented previously. So I'm the homeowner of 125 Bel Air, stepping in for my architect, so forgive me if I go against procedure. So the yellow is the house, it's on Bel Air Drive. The first slide here, it just shows what the house looked like right before it went on sale. We've made tremendous effort to improve it. We've redone the interior and the exterior. And what we're presenting today is the Phase 2 plan, which is the landscaping and hardscaping with retaining walls. Here you can see the absurd overgrowth of trees, which I know is not really the purview of this board, but just to illustrate. And this is our house on the right next to the house on the left. Even if we remove 90% of the trees, it would still have more trees than all the other houses on the block, just to point out. So this is what the house looks like currently in the winter. What we're proposing to redo is basically all of the landscaping in the front of the house and the side of the house that you see on the right of the screen. We'll be putting tiered retaining walls here, so it's safer when you come out from a car on the street. This is a hill to the north side of the house. The deck you see is the existing deck. As part of this Phase 2 proposal here, we're going to redo the deck and make it match the balcony above it. This is part of the driveway looking up towards Bel Air Drive. You could see the existing crumbling retaining wall, which is unsafe and could collapse any day. This is our neighbor's house to the left. This is looking across the street to the left of the house. This is looking directly across the street. This is looking across the street to the north. This is standing on the street looking towards the entrance of the driveway. This is the survey. So this here is the plan. Let me try to zoom in here a little bit. Shoot. Sorry, I'm more of a Mac person. Okay, I was hoping to zoom in here, but you can see the plan calls for these 2 retaining walls in the front and then a straight path to the house. There's currently no way to get to the front door from the street. We thought it was common sense to be able to do that for the safety of visitors and delivery people. We're going to widen the driveways so we could have 2 cars parked side to side. And then we're going to redo the deck here so it matches the balcony above it. This is the revised plan for the Coltex. We had a perk test and we were actually able to reduce the number. And then there's a proposed terrace that actually was lowered by nearly 2 feet in response to some feedback from neighbors. This is a zoomed in view of the plan. Oops. A little bit cut off. You could see the 2 retaining walls here. Do you see my mouse on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the 2 retaining walls here, retaining wall here, retaining wall beyond it, and then a straight path from the street to the house. Pretty simple, low profile, and then widening of the driveway, balcony, low terrace that's near the backyard level. This is, on the upper left, this is an elevation as if you're standing at the driveway looking towards the main path. Bel Air Drive is to the left, 1 retaining wall, 2 retaining wall, and then you continue on to the front door. This on the top right is a view of the house if you're standing in the backyard looking towards Bel Air and towards the house. This is the terrace, which is lowered by nearly 2 feet. This is the deck above it that will be built as part of this plan. This is the existing balcony. And some more elevations here. And the top right is the view of the front of the house coming down the steps and then walking out towards the street. Bottom left is looking towards the house, a view of the deck right here. These are the steps towards the street. Terrace down here and low near the ground. This is sort of the same view in the bottom right. We can skip this unless anyone has any questions about these detailed plans. The retaining walls will match the existing retaining walls. It'll kind of match the characteristics of the neighborhood and the block. And we'll have some nice, tasteful plantings. These are just some examples of some plantings that we will do. We'll replace the trees. There's in the plans currently, what we had missing in February is a bunch of beautiful trees that we show exactly where we're going to plant. In the front here are some examples of the lighting. They're all kind of down-firing, low-profile lights. Some more lights. That is it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Great.
I think we continue the public hearing. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is anybody online, Christina? No.
Apparently, no.
Hi, we're online if we're allowed to speak. This is Alice DeBeery of 111 Bel Air Drive.
Hi.
Hi. So we wanted to call in support of this project. We're neighbors from 2 doors down, and we have seen the house prior to the Galbs buying it, and the improvements that they've made with this property are just incredible, both externally and internally. And we really feel that as it's improved the look of the neighborhood as a result of it, and increased, property value as a result. So we've seen the plans that are proposed for this next phase, and they look tasteful and really thoughtfully done. So we just wanted to call and express our full support for this. We also happen to know their architect, and he's pretty good at this stuff. So anyway, we just wanted to call and say this looks really fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add, the goal here is nice, tasteful, low profile, refreshed so we have a safe path to the front of our house. We're not trying to do anything architecturally bold or make a statement here. We're just trying to make it tasteful and safe.
Anybody else want to speak to this?
Well, some of the letters we got mentioned the trees, the number of trees that are coming down.
Right.
You mentioned that, did I come in late?
I think, yeah, I think.
That's not our purview.
Do I need to comment to that? I think there was a concern that we were not going to replant any trees, but we definitely are going to replant trees.
I'm happy actually to see those Norway maples go.
Right. I will spare the board from my essay on
Yeah.
the trees.
Neil represented your position.
I agree.
Pretty well, I think.
Did you have something to say, Peter?
No, I just have the same opinion about Norway maples.
Okay.
Thank you.
They do have a resolution for this one.
You want to close the public hearing, and
that's what I got.
there's a resolution?
Okay, I move to close the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
I'll give the board a quick summary of the resolution for 125 Bel Air. The applicant is seeking site plan approval for various improvements to the property located at 125 Bel Air, located in the OF5 one-family residential zoning district. The project is classified under seeker as a type 2 action. The planning board conducted a duly noticed public hearing and concluded it on April 4th. And the Village Board of Trustees had preliminarily reviewed the application for a license agreement for the work encroaching into the right-of-way at its February 13th, 2024 meeting.
Just to confirm, so they're going to hold up on the building permit until that gets finalized?
Yep, so
Yeah,
that'll
right.
come into the conditions.
Okay.
The license agreement has to be in place first.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, now therefore be it resolved that the approved plans are the site plans that were by NCC Studio, last revised March 15th, 2024. Some of the conditions that are going to be for this application is that the applicant must obtain a recommendation from the Tree Commission in support of the removal of the public protected trees, such as those located in the right-of-way, and the applicant must obtain a license agreement from the Village Board of Trustees for the encroachment into the right-of-way. So those conditions will need to be met before any building permits are required.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we covered on this part?
We're going to move, if there was a motion, I mean, we need to make a motion.
Yeah, but I'm just asking, is this really true?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we believe that's been resolved in the agreement.
Okay. All right. I move that we approve the application.
Resolution. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
that
Good luck.
That is it.
I heard.
Thank you.
Good luck.
And then you have that
Thank you.
AHRB.
Oh, do we have an
And the
AHRB
AHRB
component to that?
Yep.
Okay.
So there's also an AHRB resolution for this application. It goes under the same plans. So the board just has to
Okay,
basically vote on it.
That's it?
make the motion.
Yeah.
I
motion.
move that,
For the AHRB, yeah, it's the same plans.
Right.
We can incorporate the same conditions if you want, but I think
Fine.
those conditions more fall under the purview of the site plan approval.
Just looking for a vote.
okay. I move we approve the resolution.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next item on our agenda, item number 4, 515 Broadway, Greenberg, Hebrew Center. A public hearing for proposed exterior renovations. And goes on to,
Is there somebody online, Christine? We didn't receive any new information for this application or any, they didn't address some of the comments of our consultants, so,
They did.
We did not.
did not.
Did not yet.
did not.
So should we continue it?
Yeah,
You can, I don't know if they want to speak, but we'd have to continue it, yeah, until they address those comments. We don't have a resolution for that one tonight.
Okay.
No.
Is there anybody there?
Yep, hi,
Oh,
Jim Anacaricco with Cronin. Yeah, just real brief. Unfortunately, we're unable to make the deadline for the resubmission. But we were able to obtain a tree permit for the removal of the trees. In the meantime, we've had some talks with the neighbor to the north about the existing asphalt that's about 2 feet over onto their property line. We're working on trying to get a letter from them. If not, we don't really need it. We will agree to only pave up to the property line. Again, like I said last month, the comments from the planner and the engineer are not are not overwhelming to me. The only thing I thought maybe everybody might want to take a quick look at is what I did to show that all the parking spaces comply size-wise now. So if you want, I could share my screen real quick and just show you that briefly.
can I ask you, the only comment that I made last time was this business about aligning the new sidewalk ramp at the curb cut with state DOT's plan for.
Right.
So will you incorporate that in the next?
Yes, I
Okay.
was able to get a copy of the DOT plan, so it doesn't look like it would be an issue at all. So,
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't think it is. Good.
yeah, I'll be able to incorporate that. So just, before we had some kind of undersized shown just because of the odd
We're not
shape of.
seeing,
Oh,
we're
I'm
just
sorry.
seeing a black screen.
Oh, really? Says my share screen is loading. Not sure why. Let me try again.
You could probably describe it.
Yeah, so anyway, all the spaces in the back are now 18 by 9. All the aisle widths are, comply with the requirements for the various types of angled parking or 90-degree parking we have, except for one spot, which is 22 feet as opposed to 24. We're trying to avoid. I mean, we could make that work with 24, but we'd have to move the curb, the southern curb, out another 2 feet, and that would actually require the relocation of 1 or 2 existing light poles, and we're trying to avoid the cost of that. So I guess we'd be asking that you consider, we have a slightly choked down spot up to 22 feet for the aisle width. But otherwise, everything does comply.
Good.
Yes.
The play area was existing, right? And you just put some chopped rubber in there, or how's it different?
Yeah, there was an existing playground there. Made it a little bit bigger, a little bit safer. Bumped it up, it's some retaining walls, some fencing. We taking down this tree that's part of the tree permit. Removing the shed that's in there, and it'll be new playground equipment. So it's gotten slightly bigger. That was actually how we were able to show that we were slightly reducing the impervious coverage.
It's chopped rubber on top of sand or something like that, or?
Right.
Okay. Sounds good.
If the board wants to, I think you should open the public hearing, see if there's any comment, and then, if you're inclined, adjourn it to May 2.
Close it?
Yeah. I don't think you want to close it, you're still submitting. Right?
They just have to work out an agreement possibly with the neighbor on an easement for that pavement, so just adjourn it until,
Yeah,
All right,
Should we open the public hearing?
yeah, I would open it, yeah.
all right. I move we open public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
For the next meeting, and then we have to adjourn it to the next meeting.
Well,
Correct.
does anybody want to speak to this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crickets.
Next meeting,
Okay.
next meeting.
Let's adjourn the public hearing.
Adjourn
Or
it?
continue it.
All right.
Continue it.
I move we continue the public hearing.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Thank you.
And that's
Thank
May
you.
May 2. I believe.
Get ready for that May meeting.
Peter.
This is rest up for the May meeting.
The next item on our agenda, which is under pre-submission conference for Planning Board and AHRB, 327 Ashford Avenue, continuation of pre-submission conference for proposed removal of in-ground pool, two-car garage. And it says here, the application is adjourned until May 2, 2014, Planning Board meeting.
Better have dinner before.
I don't know if we have to take action to, what,
No,
Pre-submission, right? So
Three
there's,
subs, so we
we
don't,
could acknowledge it, but that's about it.
Okay.
Okay,
yep.
okay.
So
All right.
we don't have to do anything?
Apparently doing it. All right. The second and last item on our agenda, 99 Main Street, pre-submission conference for proposed removal of existing first floor walls, rebuild of the first floor and addition of 4 floors to the building.
That was a great project. Just curious about the fourth story.
There were board of trustees meeting, they couldn't be here tonight, they asked me just to give an introduction letter, just introducing who they are.
Okay.
It's just a letter from the.
Just a letter, it's not addressing any concerns or anything
Yeah.
like that.
There you go.
Who's that from?
It's from the owners.
Oh, okay.
Of Genesis Realty Group.
Multiple
There are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can pass a couple of these down.
Wait, I'm just curious what DOT said about it.
Did they get one down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, plenty.
If you want to read it later.
All right. Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pete Bullock from Mike Lewis Architects here in Dobbs Ferry, and I'm presenting proposed work to 99 Main Street for our clients, Genesis Realty Group, and their in-house construction partner, E.J. York. We've got Dale from E.J. York here with us tonight. We were previously here. Was it deja vu all over again? We were approved for work previously on the first floor and the basement level work. And now the owners are wanting to go up 3 more levels above the first floor. You know, what had happened was we had decided to lower the basement floor level, and we did substantial underpinning on all 4 sides of the building. So once we had that done and a strong foundation to work off of, they decided to do this extended work. Last month, we were in front of the Board of Trustees presenting this to them, and it was well received. They voted unanimously to bring us here before you tonight. So, you know, originally we had done some research on 99 Main Street with the Historical Society, library. We couldn't find anything except for the little photo of the Main Street fire way back when in 1918. So we didn't really have too much to go on in terms of what the building looked like or what was there previously. So we met with Dan and John about all the requirements and things that we needed to do, and also consulted downtown district building design guidelines and followed those as closely as we could. And looking for some inspiration on Main Street, we looked at the print house down in the corner, the beautiful brick and stone building. So that's informed us in terms of what the facade looks like here, you know, mainly brick with stucco on the sides. And what else? Just take us through the drawings and then address a few issues we have and then take any questions. So here's an existing photo of 99 Main, and this is just a sketch of the proposed building there. Just a little closer view of the proposed second story, third story, and then the fourth floor set back 12 feet from that. In terms of the building volume, it's probably easier to look, I think, at one of these building sections that we've done. You know, they decided to not develop a decent part of the back of the lot and do this stepped piece in the back that makes everything a little smaller. I think we've left about, almost 2,800, 3,000 feet undeveloped in this rear area, just to not maximize it and to give this stepped, smaller shape to the building with larger terraces all looking out onto the water. The Hudson back this way. And this is the existing first floor that we're proposing to remove. It's not structurally stable. And we would rebuild the first floor here and then add a second, third, and then at the discretion of the BOT and, of course, this board, a fourth floor on that level. So that's just the building volume. Just go through some of the plans, and we can show you those. We're not expanding the footprint of the building at all. It's the same exact footprint as it is now. I think it's 80% coverage, is it, Dan, on this allowable, I believe?
Yes.
And that would let us go back almost to the back of the lot, but they decided not to do that and keep it within the existing footprint. So that's the site plans, the zoning charts. And this is the existing lower level plan, which is lower level is offices. Lower level and first floor are offices. So this is the first floor, this lower level existing and the lower level proposed. And this is the first floor existing and then the first floor proposed. At the street level, you come in through the center right into the office space. And on the left-hand side of the building is the residential entry that goes in and up to the second, third, and proposed fourth floor units. On to the second floor. We've got a smaller studio apartment in the front and a one-bedroom apartment in the rear with a terrace. And on the proposed third floor, there's a two-bedroom unit with a large terrace looking out towards the river. And above that on the fourth floor is a smaller unit, one-bedroom unit with a front terrace on the 12-foot step back and a rear terrace again on the back looking towards the river. This is the proposed existing front elevation in the bottom and proposed front elevation here, and the same in the rear. It's the rear elevation and then the proposed above. We see these again in the AHRB sheet that's got the materials on it as well. So that's the existing first floor, and these are the proposed second, third, and then the fourth floor. Moving on to the elevations. This is an elevation from the south in the alley looking north up Main Street. You can see how it's stepped back. This is the existing back of the rear of the building. Here's the same line. No expansion there, just upwards. Sorry. This is an elevation from the north looking south. There's an alleyway between 99 Main and 101 Main. And this is the building section we were looking at. It's from the south looking to the north again. And this is just the site streetscape on the bottom of the existing, a little, small little tooth there, and 99 Main, and the proposed building within the streetscape there. And then the ARB sheet with the materials, which are almost the same as when we presented the first time. Rob, before you can ask me, we're not proposing brick veneer, we're proposing full brick. You had mentioned that last time when we were presented. It's, we're going to do a brick that's similar to this, but a full brick on frame. Similar to, we like the brick down on the print house, just an older, nicer looking brick with some stone sills, cast stone sills and lintels, and then stucco on the sides. Those are the main materials. You know, this is the main entry to the center and the office space, and then this is the residential entry on the left. And that's the bulk of the project that we're proposing. There's a number of issues too that that have been flagged by the consultants, so we could address some of those. One of the first one is the apartment on the second floor is under the minimum size of 600 feet. The reason we had done that was to try to put a smaller unit in there without taking away from the rear unit. So that's something we would ask for a waiver for.
Mm-hmm. How much smaller?
It's 600, it's 490, 498, 487. It's about 100 feet, a little. It's a nice sized unit, but it's on the front.
Peter, were you going to change that to make that compliant to the 600?
We're asking for a waiver on that variance.
Okay.
You know, it's a smaller unit. We wanted to do something a little more economical. And we certainly could expand that and make it 2 one-bedrooms.
Yeah. In that zone, the minimum size unit says in our code could be 600 square feet, but you just can waive that too.
You know, one of the reasons we were asking to do that was, I mean, we could certainly go back further, but we're trying to minimize the bulk in the rear. And that was one of the things, you know, if we added another few hundred square feet there, it's easy for us to do, but we wanted to try to keep it a little smaller and not develop too much. So that was the second floor apartment issue. On the first floor, Valerie had flagged commercial use. It's strictly office space, so there's no issue about what type of commercial use it's going to be on the first floor at the basement level. Another thing that was flagged was the fourth floor unit itself, which the BOT thought was okay, but obviously that's also, is it your discretion or their discretion?
No, it's real, I think we're just advising
Just advising.
the Board of Trustees on
Main
this,
Street.
right?
Yeah.
So whatever so you don't have to make us, actually, you should try to make us happy. But it's the BOT that,
They unanimously approved it to go forward.
can I ask about that though? Because
Yeah.
by the way, I love this project.
Oh, thanks.
And I don't think it's big enough, actually. But, so what was the discussion at the Board of Trustees about the fourth floor? Because theoretically, I think it's supposed to be in return for some public good. And I think the original idea, the original hope was that a developer might do an affordable unit in return for the extra floor. And so I have 2 questions. One is, what was the discussion at the BOT? And also, have you thought about making the building a little bit bigger in the back in order to get enough units to subsidize an affordable housing unit?
We didn't think about going above the 4 units. That was, I don't think there was much of a discussion on that. That was just the number that they had set on. And I think we initially even had 1 less unit on the second floor. Initially, that was 1 unit. And we wanted to put an extra unit in, but we didn't want to increase the bulk in the rear that much.
Why?
Part of the thing is, well, if you look at that section, the further back we go, there are some windows on 101 Main, and we're only covering up maybe 1 of those existing windows, but the further back we go on each floor, we're starting to hit more of those windows. That
Right.
was one of the reasons to
Yeah,
try to minimize.
okay,
the bulk.
that's what you did.
And the discussion at the BOT, I think we discussed a few similar projects, maybe something along the lines of 66 Main. That's a much larger, next to Crespo Wines, a much larger building that's got 3 floors, and it's set back, similar thing, set back with a large unit, 4th floor unit above it. So they thought that, you know, we had minimized it enough by setting it back and having a different material, that it seemed okay to them.
I think it's okay. I mean, by the way, I think more smaller units is better.
Yeah.
I think this project does all the right things from my perspective in terms of getting people downtown, taking a terrible-looking one-story thing and turning it into something that's more contextual. I'm just curious, I mean, it's really up to the BOT
Yeah.
to justify. I know some people, I'm sure, will raise the question of, well, how is the 4th floor justified? I don't feel that way personally, but I imagine we're going to hear that.
Yes, and that's a smaller
And-
unit too. It's a
Yeah.
800 square foot unit.
No, and I think you're setting it back enough so that it's essentially, its presence on the street is going to be a 3-story building. So I don't really have a problem, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just curious if do they talk about the public benefit side of the 4th floor of it?
The DOT wasn't talking about the benefit of it so much, I mean, other than adding an extra unit. One other thing we did talk about on that was that, you know, on 66 Main, if you look at it, the building stops right at the 4th floor level. So you kind of see that, you see it pretty decently if you're looking up at it. But what we did was we pulled the parapet up. You know, this is the 4th floor level. So we pulled the parapet up to, you know, 42 inches so that it even cuts that
Yeah, the
off
sight line.
more.
Yeah.
So the sight line, you know, you really have to be across the street or down a bit to see it, so.
But the public benefit argument will be that, well, it's more units downtown, and that's good for the downtown life in the street and all that. Is that what it'll be? I forget, Dan, does it say, I don't remember does it actually, do you remember what the language is about the public benefit for the 4th, about the 4th floor in downtown?
I don't know it exactly. I just read it the other day, too. I could grab my book real quick.
Maybe not now, but we should see, because I know we're gonna have to, and the Board of Trustees also gonna have to justify the 4th floor. And I'm in favor of it, I'm all about it, but I'm curious what we say, because I know it was conditional,
Yeah.
and I know the idea of an affordable housing unit was one of the things. I thought we listed a few ideas about what that public benefit might be to justify the 4th floor, but I don't remember exactly the language.
I'm not enthused about a 4th floor.
You don't see it, you're not gonna see it, so.
Well, you don't see it from the street, it's hid very well, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious about, you know, Old Croton
I told them
Aqueduct.
all about it, so nobody
Oh,
knew
what
it
do you mean
downtown.
on the aqueduct?
The Old Croton Aqueduct, you
Yeah.
know, in terms of just any kind of views towards the river and stuff.
It doesn't affect them from the aqueduct.
Yeah, there's another building in front of it, right? On
Yeah, if you were to,
100 Main.
there's a few view corridors here. One is up, I think it's number 37 is up near the Historical Society looking down. This is
Gotcha,
looking
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So if you were to go there, you don't see the building.
Oh, I'm glad that you checked those out.
Further down the street, same thing. I mean, you see 101 Main, but not 99. And if you go a little further down, the same thing. You know, you're almost on, you're on the trail here.
Gotcha.
And you
Yeah.
still don't see it.
Yeah, 100 Main probably blocks the view of it.
And there's oddly there's a number 26 view corridor, which is on Main Street itself. But you can't really see anything there unless you're in an alley or in between one of those spots. But,
Thank you for checking those out. I'm glad you did.
and we spoke about that at the BOT meeting. Valerie from the consultant was saying that this is, it's a public issue, you know, private, you know, someone can't come and say, oh, you're blocking the view from my house. It's got to be from the street.
Yeah,
or something.
no.
From the pub, yeah.
I'm big on protecting views from the aqueduct.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect that one. And then one of the other issues we had was the size of that 4th floor unit. In the code, it states that the 4th floor unit should be 50% of the unit below. And we are larger than that. And we'd ask for a waiver on that too, only that we're, we are doing reduced size on most of the floors, and not developing as far back as we could. So that's the reason for our ask on that variance on the fourth floor size. Let's see that section too.
Were there any other issues that?
Those were the main issues.
And so what's the procedure for these projects where we advise? Like, in what form do we submit our advice to the BOT?
I believe you would compile a recommendation for the BOT, both as the planning board and as the AHRB. And that can also be regarding the waivers as well, because normally you guys would be the authoritative body to give the waivers, but since the review is by the Village Board of Trustees, they would be the authoritative body, I believe.
But they probably want to know what we think.
Yeah.
Yes, they had asked that. And then one other thing that we had discussed was, of course, the PLOP. So we're required, the proposed new units would require 5 parking spots, 5 new spots. There are 2 spots there that are in the rear now. And Valerie had looked that up and said that she thought that 2 of those were transferable somehow to the building, so that we would only end up having 3 instead of, to pay for 3 PLOP fees instead of 5 parking. So that was something that she would, she had mentioned also.
Okay.
So, and those are the main issues.
Yeah. I believe typically you have public hearings on referrals.
Now what, I'm sorry, Dan?
I was saying typically, I think you have public hearings on referrals. I don't know if you want to set this for a public hearing for the May meeting. Hear it and
Then it'll go back to the BOT, and they'll have a public hearing also on it, but.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can close the public hearing, give whatever comments you have suggested, and let the Board of Trustees act.
I think that makes sense.
So we'll call for a public hearing next meeting.
Because I'm sure people have opinions on
Yeah,
this.
they'll catch either here or at the trustees. Yeah, yeah, that would be May 2nd.
May 2nd.
So call for a public hearing.
Have dinner before May 2nd.
Unless they want to waive it.
Right?
And sleeping bags.
You could, I guess you could waive it, I think, if you know what your comments are now.
I don't.
I mean, there is going to be a public hearing at the
BOT.
BOT.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, what do you
No,
think, Alan? I mean,
Well, I think that we're in a better position to ask for changes at this stage.
Okay.
So a public hearing might be wise.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
okay, good. So let's do it.
How do people get to the back of this building? Just looking.
Back.
There's a right of way, right?
I'll show you.
There's a.
Not easily. Right there. There's a driveway between, between 101,
And then there's also an alleyway.
101, there's an alleyway, very narrow alleyway. You have to go down the alleyway and around the corner
On Main
to a right-of-way in the back that runs all the way to Kearney.
Because we used to always
No,
consult the
no,
fire
because
company to
there's so
see
many
what they
restrictions
thought of
on parking meters there.
places that were hard to get to.
What would make somebody want to live there if they can't park?
And just in terms of the fourth floor too, there's a few precedents on Main Street, the 66 Main, certainly much
Oh, I
bulkier
know, but
looking than this when you look at it from the Main Street.
You don't want to use 66 Main as a precedent.
Not as a precedent, I'm just saying that was,
Yeah, yeah.
and then, true 4-story looking building on Main Street is of course across from the print house.
Right, the corner
Corner,
building.
which is.
That's a full 4, right?
78.
That's, I mean.
That's a full 4 stories, right?
It's a full floor, but I think there's some mansard roof.
Yeah.
But,
But I don't know if they provided an affordable unit or not. Do you know, Dan, if there's
78 Main.
in 78 Main, Dan, do you happen to know? If Christina's building on the corner opposite the print house, that's a 4-story building. Did they provide an affordable unit in there? Do you know?
I don't know that. Oh, wait, it's 75, what number? 75?
The corner one
Oh, the Oceana building.
No,
across the street from it.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
the one where Climbing Wolf
Climbing
is?
Wolf?
Right,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an affordable in there.
I don't know if it was enough units to have to.
It may have also, it may have also,
It would have to have 5
five, yeah, it may also been done before, you know, originally there was 4 stories as of right, and then
I don't think there is an affordable unit in there.
And then it was knocked down to 3 with this discretion for a 4th. So maybe that project was approved before the height limit was reduced to 3 stories.
Yes, I think it was because 66, 68.
There's also a full floor.
Was a catalyst for lots of changes.
Yeah.
You probably want to vote on, for the public hearing? Motions?
Yeah.
and so-
Public hearing next meeting.
And that's fine.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The public hearing next meeting.
Thank you, nice work. All right.
Yeah, I also think the project looks good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Do you want to hear that language that you were talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, about the 4th floor, what does
Yeah.
it say?
The addition of a 4th story of any building and/or a building in excess of 40 feet in the DG and DB zones, or 35 feet in the DT zone, up to 45 feet in the DB and DG zones, or 40 feet in the DT zone, may be permitted only at the discretion of the Board of Trustees as part of the site plan review application, and only after a reasoned judgment setting forth the public benefits of the development, which would warrant the Board of Trustees granting approval for the 4th floor and increased height.
So we don't give any examples, like for instance?
It doesn't.
Okay, no, that's
Say-
cool. I just, thank
And the
you.
overall height of your building is?
We're below 40, we're at 43 feet.
Oh, okay.
You know, at the setback piece.
Yep.
And, you know, well under in the front, it's in the third.
Okay,
Thanks, Dan.
thank you.
All right.
So now, that's the end of the agenda, right?
Yes.
So Dan, did you want to?
Yeah, maybe we can, yeah, we want to have a meeting with counsel for legal advice. We don't, there's no formality to it. We could just go either in the back or
Yeah,
empty the room and close the doors.
we can go to the back.
Whatever's easy, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, adjourn?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're gonna go to the back.
I move we adjourn.
Second?
No,
Aye.
Aye.
you have to
Aye.
stay here overnight. if you
Thank you.
I'm not keen about more big buildings downtown.
This is
We
great.
can,
I mean,
I know I will.
oh, okay.
I'm not sure. We're gonna find out. We'll get threatened by it.